Good afternoon, everybody. This is Mandy at Laugh and Grackle, and we have got our vampires tonight, so let's go ahead and get started.
The Emperor upright. We are great leaders, leading by example, type of people who are commanding with fairness, and because of that fairness we are given respect and power. We create a structure and order in our dealings, making others feel that we have security and dependability. Eight of Grails upright. This is our sign to move on and let go. This card wants us to relinquish our power and lean into our surrendering, that destruction of stagnation in all forms. We're searching for our own truth and we're on our spiritual building journey. This leads us to the Tower. The Star upright. This is our liberation by spiritual insight, using astral understanding and spiritual prompting to bring in harmony, clarity on our path, and realization of possibilities. The Tower upright. This is a forceful blast of breaking down obstacles in our way, burning away things in our past, only leaving us spiritually renewed and with spiritual knowledge of our enlightenment.
The Emperor. This is, letting us know that we are very good leaders. We lead by example. And, we're commanding respect. And, we do it with fairness. That's why people are more willing to follow us, because of that, fairness and respect given. Now, we know how to create structures and to make them orderly. Whenever we do that, we are showing others that we have security and dependability. The Eight of Grails. This one is trying to sit there and get us to understand that we don't have to have that control right here all the time. Sometimes being able to let that go and not hold on so tightly, will actually go better than doing that. It is to, because whenever we sit there and we let go, we allow things to happen, which is, giving us that surrendering that sometimes is needed to, make things go forward. Now, we are looking for our own truth. And, because of that, we're on our own spiritual building journey. And, whenever we're dealing with all that, it kind of leads us to the last card, which is the Tower, which I'll get back to in a minute. The Star is us having that spiritual insight. And, being able to use all of the things within that spiritual insight to bring harmony to our path. And, whenever we get that clarity to our path, we have the realization of possibilities. Now, like I said, the Eight of Grails is tied into the Tower. And the tower is always kind of seen as a bad thing, and it's not necessarily that. It is, for the lack of better terms, we're gonna blow things up, and to be able to really build it up the way we should have done it in the first place. And this, think about a door that is in your way, and we've tried trying to knock it down and bang it down and all of these other things, right? But the tower moment is about blowing the doors off the hinges. Yes, it's destructive. Yes, it can be one of those wow kind of things. But whenever you sit there and you blow those hinges off, as the old saying goes, you're blowing that glass ceiling off, and you're making a way for you to be able to move on. Now, that is basically what this tower moment is about. Because we are trying to find our truth and do our spiritual journey, this is taking all of the obstacles and all of the things that have been holding us back and burning them down. And whenever it does that, it allows us to bring in that growth, to bring in that spiritual knowledge, and to get that enlightenment from that. And that's why the tower moments are so important. It could be, like I said, it could be destructive, it could be, all of this other stuff, but it's a starting point. And that is what we're needing in this particular situation. So we are going to be having our animal spirits and animal familiars tomorrow, so come on back and see me, do like and shares, and I'll see you then.